Hello everybody, this is Dean the Autist. I just stopped the recording and I'm starting it again. So I don't want to stop until I'm sure I'm on a route. So, actually. Well, I joined the art club, so I guess I'll go with them. You did what? I joined the art club. Man, that was a bad move. Really bad. You don't know what kind of girls there are in the art club. Troubled, angsty cuties who will tear your heart out and eat it raw. Well, I know one art club member, and I don't really see Rin suddenly become a psychotic murderer. That seems unlikely. Don't say that. Don't fool yourself. You have no idea what you're dealing with here, man. They are the worst kind. They drag you in with all this fancy-pantsy shit, and when you least expect it, BAM! Bam what? Kenji seems slightly phased at my skepticism, but not any less loony. It doesn't matter. Tread carefully, man. Tread carefully. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire, then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm gonna have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out myself, so that I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. Don't go to school tomorrow. Not that Kenji, actually does that, because at least I don't remember Kenji doing anything like that. Anyways. The door slowly closes with a slow creak, and I don't know how to feel what Kenji just said. About what Kenji just said. Yeah. The happy hubbub of the crowd greets me as I push through the main door and step outside. The school grounds were transformed into festival grounds over yesterday and this morning. Colorful stands line at the main walkways from the main entrance to the school building. Some people are still carrying stuff to and fro, but behind most counters are relaxed students who look like they are good to go. Most of the other students have been up early to finish the preparations. A feeling of guilt passes through me, but it soon goes away. I'm just a lowly transfer student after all. Some visitors are already strolling around the grounds. There are some young families with perturbed parents trying to keep up with their over-enthusiastic offspring. Yeah, honestly, you're not going to see that many young families anymore, unfortunately. So yeah, a few students of our own accompanied by their parents. And a lot of old and young people who are here for no reason I can imagine. The Corellian bursts to life, and the principal's squeaky voice announces the opening of the festival over the PA system. You know, I don't think we actually ever get a sprite or anything for the principal in this game. If I remember correctly, the principal doesn't make an appearance. Everyone applauds politely, if a bit unenthusiastically. A school festival. We didn't really have festivals at my old high school. Feels kind of old-fashioned, especially considering the school I came from, but it's still somewhat exciting. A day off feels sweet after the first week of hard work, despite me lying on the hospital bed for 4 months prior to this. I recall even wishing I could go to math lessons during my stint at the hospital. I can't remember the program for the festival, even though Mutuo went through it during class just the other day. I step off the dorm steps, intending to take a tour around the grounds to see all the stuff the others have set up, but I only make it down to the bottom of the stairs. A few people are studying Rin's mural on the wall, while the artist herself is lounging on the sidelines, leaning against the wall, looking extremely bored and mildly under the weather. Good morning. Hello. How's it going? Nowhere. I'm stuck. What do you mean, stuck? I mean, I can't walk stuck. I think my legs are out of order because of yesterday. Does it hurt? It's hard to say. Maybe. The strain of working on the mural was greater than she let me know. Though it was just a bit of tired muscles or something. I mean, to ask something further, but Rin swiftly moves on to another topic. The teacher's friends came by. Then they headed into town for lunch and asked me to go. It's a good thing my legs hurt so much. But you're stuck sitting there? That's not good. I'll just walk till I can walk again. It should be either sooner or later if you think about it for a while. Teacher was happy that I finished the mural. He should be. But I wonder if it's finished after all. Oh? I thought yesterday that I'd done everything, but now I'm not sure anymore. I should paint more details, maybe? Probably. It's very hard to decide. Finished or not, the mural looks great in broad daylight. Okay, Or is it not going to scroll? Okay. Various human body parts repeated over and over, and wildly mutating, mostly disfigured variety are the main elements. They are rough-looking, as if thoughtlessly placed and rudimentary painted, but a great deal of thought and care has gone into each and every one of them. Does this one have a frog growing out of its head? It's a goldfish. What's that? It's nothing. Okay then. Anyway. The wall is so wide, I have to turn my neck from side to side to see the entire painting. Okay, we're stopping. It's hard to consider it as a single piece. The elements don't seem to fit together. But I guess they do create some kind of a whole? Abstract as it is, I have no idea what it's supposed to be portraying. But it looks nice. That's enough for me. I settle myself next to Rin, leaning against the wall like she does. The happy noises of the festival are becoming louder as more and more folks enter the grounds. The dorms are far from the main attractions in the main building, and the stands around the courtyard, so most visitors have not found their way here yet. Hi, Rin. A somewhat bored expression appears on Rin's face, making her look detached from everything that's going around her. She's being awfully quiet. I wonder if she's in pain. So, what did the art people say about your mural? My question wakes Rin from her daydreaming. She lazily turns her face toward me. I'm not sure. I think they liked it. Maybe they did. What about you? Are you happy with the mural? Because I kind of participated. It'd be terrible if you were unhappy. Rin tilts her head, biting her lower lip. I think it came out decently. It's not bad, but it's not good either. It's just... I guess. I'm alright at being empty-minded. Can I ask something else? What does the painting really portray? I thought about it yesterday, when you said it doesn't portray anything. But that's a logical fallacy, isn't it? You can't make something out of nothing, not even art. Rin frowns and turns her head back towards the clouds. I don't know. I'm not really good at explaining things. It's just a mural. There's nothing special to it. I said it already. She looks annoyed at my inquiries. I didn't know what I'd paint, so I decided to just paint a mural. It's a mural that portrays a mural. No, wait. I just thought of a better way to say it. It betrays itself. It insists upon itself. I do not care for Rin's mural. It insists upon itself. Okay. So its muralness is at the maximum. At least as far as I can do. So if you think it has some meaning, I think that's the same one this one has. That makes no sense. Meaning, I feel the corners of my mouth turning upwards into a smile. That's just a tiny bit bothered. I never understood art in the deepest meaning of the word. I get the basics, how art is supposed to be only a means for exchanging ideas and thoughts. However, I never learned how I should interpret a piece of art. To somehow divine what the artist intends to say through it. So yeah, I'm just gonna let it scroll so that we can actually see the entire piece this time. Because I did just, like, yeah. Ugh. Oh, it's just stopping here, okay. I know it's not any special skill, but somehow my brain can never connect art with anything else that I see. All I see is a mural. I can admire the technical skill. After all, even I know the difference between bad art and mediocre art. Mediocre art and good art. But that's as far as I can go. Don't ask me about meanings, Rin. Her reply made me reluctant to ask her about it any further, either. So, what are you doing when you get on your feet? Nothing. Nothing? There's a festival. Don't you want to go have some fun? I'm fine like this. You don't like socializing too much, do you? I think I'm arguing more for her than for myself at this point. It's not like that I'm particularly thrilled about the festival either. I'm just a bit curious to see what it's like, and and that's about it. Her answer is unsurprising. No, I don't. I guess me neither in the end. You should go if you want to. I know, but I can keep you company. I'm not used to all this just yet, so it's okay to take it easy. I can leave though if you want to be alone. I like it if you are here. We circle around each other with words, and eventually end up somewhere. Her saying that makes me feel oddly happy, so I say. Her presence is something I like too. The odd, warm aura of sincerity that she seems to emanate, makes it comfortable to be silent. I really like that. We watch people walk by, the two of us silent, everyone else chattering happily among themselves. Students are leading their families to the dorms to show their rooms. They pass us and the mural, maybe glance at it once or twice. I pay less attention to them and more my companion, trying to figure my way past her cryptic, unreadable wall of a face. Rin's eyes flicker restlessly from one person to another as they walk by. Is she waiting for people to stop at the mural? Maybe secretly hoping someone would comment on it? Yeah. I don't think anyone would assume she was the artist. We're just sitting here like a pair of hobos after all. And she doesn't even have hands. I wonder if it's even in Rin's style to fish for compliments. She seems so aloof. More people walk by, some of them pointing their fingers at the mural, exchanging words that I can't make out. Someone drops a snow cone on his shoe. Too bad for him. Everyone seems to like it. I suggested tentatively, throwing a topic in the same stale summer air separating us. Rin doesn't answer right away. But by now, I'm mostly used to her occasional slowness when she must talk. It's like she takes great care of picking her words, which is really unbelievable when you consider the jumble that comes out of her mouth. I wanted to make it so that you could just look at it without thinking. Then I realized that it doesn't make any sense, so it became something like a mix of this and that. From far away, it looks like someone vomited a herd of butterflies on the wall, which is exactly what that obnoxious president person didn't want. Is the word that? What word? That... What is the word for more than one butterfly? Butterflies? No, like a herd, or a school, or a heap. I don't know, a flock maybe? Maybe people like butterfly vomit. Rin looks at the mural, looking surprisingly unhappy. The middle could be better. Usually, I like in-betweens. This was a pain in my butt. Not literally, of course. Then again, I did get that too. I guess it was literally after all. Don't be so critical of yourself. She looks at me funnily, but shuts up. At this point, I start thinking if I should really leave and do something more constructive with my Sunday. This is the pinnacle of social failure. A whole free day, a festival right outside my doorstep. And what do? I sit here with Rin, two bystanders with nothing to do, to think what a pity it is to be just a bystander. Even realizing how pitiful it is, I don't do anything. I don't stand up and take off for a day of fun. Shuffle, shuffle. Fidget, shuffle. Rin is shuffling about relentlessly, constantly swinging one leg over the other knee and then back again. She has a very irritated look on her face. Is something wrong? Yes, no, yes. She suddenly hops up on her feet. It's surprising. I thought she was still rendered immobile, but apparently that's not the case. I have to go find Emmy or someone. I need help with something. I can help you. No, it's okay. One of us has to stay here in case something happens. Don't be ridiculous. Nothing even remotely interesting has happened since I came here. Except that one guy who dropped a snow cone on his foot. Let me help you, since I'm bored. So what is it? Rin's lips flatten tightly against each other into an almost perfectly horizontal line. She closes her eyes and draws in a deep breath. When she opens her eyelids, the frighteningly stern look in her dark eyes takes me aback. You might not want to hear this, or maybe you do. I don't know. But it doesn't matter, and even if it did, you're not leaving me any choice. Oh. I'm having my period, and I need some help regarding that. However, I don't feel that our relationship is yet on the level where I can allow you to pull my underwear down in the girl's toilet, even if you offered to. Jesus Christ. Look, I know this is Rin, but, like TMI. Like, that's why you should stay here while I go and look for Emmy. As blood rushes to my cheeks like a rising tide, my brain's trying to desperately search for an answer, but the only thing I can think of is how that was the most coherent thing I've heard out of Rin's mouth during these 4 days I've known her. Yes. Not wanting to meet Rin's eyes, I turn my face aside, pretending that I'm looking at someone's parents. From the corner of my eye, I see Rin turning on her heel and walking off without further ado. I feel like I'm going to hide under a rock. I wonder how long Rin will be gone, or if she will return at all. She does return eventually, appearing seemingly out of nowhere, sitting back to where she was, next to my place. I'm back. She says it flatly, like my blunder never happened. I prefer to forget the whole matter as well, so I keep quiet. Time passes in standstill. The sun gleams from high above the main building. It hits me directly in the eyes, but I just squint instead of moving. In a bit, it becomes painful to keep my eyes open just a little, and my temples start aching. My head hurts. I think this day gave me a headache. Can you believe it? Are you hungry? How is that related to a headache? It's not. I ask because I am. Her oblivious seriousness melts my irritation. With its ridiculousness, I find the corners of my mouth turning slightly upwards again. You know what? So am I. I'll go get some food for us. What do you want? My treat. Doesn't matter. Returning with the food, I give one portion to Rin, taking the other for myself, and we dig in without a word. Rin looks upwards, fork hanging out of the corner of her mouth. What are clouds? I always thought they were thoughts of the sky or something like that, because you can't touch them. You thought like that when you were a kid? No, last week. Maybe just because sometimes my thoughts feel like clouds, fluffy and white and slow. Like the sky was in my mind. Like my mind was the sky. The sky of your mind? Close your eyes and think of sky. You won't be able to think of anything else until you stop. I try it. It works. Magic? I think that's just having an imagination, dude. Opening my eyes, I see Rin studying me with her eyes. It feels uncomfortable. Because she doesn't say anything, I turn away. Clouds are water. Evaporated water. You know, they say that almost all of the water in the world will at some point of its existence be part of a cloud. Every drop of tears and blood and sweat that comes out of you, it'll be a cloud. All the water inside your body too. It goes up there sometime after you die. It might take a while though. Your explanation is better than any of mine, because it's true. That must be it. I carry on eating the food before it gets cold. The wall offers a bit of blessed shade as the sun revolves around the dome of the sky. But the afternoon is already slowly making way for the evening, so our lunch becomes more of a dinner, or whatever the word the word is for an irregular meal like this. Despite what I decide to call it, it certainly hits the spot. I haven't eaten a bit since forever. My appetite filled, I let out a satisfied sigh. Rin hasn't eaten all of hers, but seems to be done with her food as well. I lean back, taking in the atmosphere. The crowd has thinned already, but the activities are still going. Everyone seems to be enjoying themselves. And why not? It's warm, the perfect kind of summer day when it's hot, but not too hot for comfort. The sun will set soon. Time has already flown by. We've been sitting here for 6 hours. Yes, we have. Do you want to do something else now? No, not really. Me neither. She adjusts her position and leans against the wall, and I follow her lead, relaxing my own body. For minutes on end, we sit there without saying a word. I feel like I'm trying to feel Rin's mood from her demeanor, the tension of her muscles, the tiny expressions fleeting on her face. It's no use. She's unreadable as always. The crowd swells to and fro, people happily chatting with each other. Very few people pay attention to the mural, and even less to us. I fiddle with a few odd pebbles absent-mindedly. The act of doing something just for the sake of doing something, the pinnacle of idleness. Inch by inch, the sun creeps lower and lower towards the tree line, changing the color of the sky close to the horizon from golden yellow to orange and red as the moment of sunset draws near. I feel my stomach is filled with lead after eating so heavily, but the brick wall seems surprisingly comfortable against my back. I try to fight against the drowsy feeling that is overwhelming me, to no avail. I wake up with a start. A low boom reverberates through the school's grounds. After images of bright sparks flash through my vision like stars. something rises toward the skies from the direction of the sports field. A tail of fire trails behind it, until a burst of red and yellow flame lights the sky high above the school with another loud boom. Fireworks. Okay, it's just gonna repeat. So, the sudden flash of light against the canvas of the night sky awakens me to realize that it's actually dark already. How long did I sleep? I feel groggy and can't feel my right arm. As I attempt to flex it, I realize why. Rin is leaning heavily against my shoulder, almost falling on my lap. She is fast asleep, not even fazed by the fireworks. Her mouth is slightly open, and her eyes are peacefully closed, sleeping childlike face of the innocent. I shake Rin gently with my free arm, trying to wake her up, or, failing that, move her so that my other arm is liberated from its pinch. Rin's face twitches, her eyelids shut tighter, as if to resist waking up. She gradually opens her eyes, but keeps them half closed, letting the light from the fireworks sneak past her eyelashes, so that her green irises mirror the bright flashes of the explosions, then looks up at me and frowns. Just a while longer, okay? Rin's voice is drowsy and slow, leaving her almost unintelligibly muttered words hanging lazily in the air. It seems she is not entirely aware of the situation. Rin's head droops back on my shoulder as she leans against me with all her weight. She snuggles against my side, trying to make herself comfortable, but making me feel very uncomfortable at the same time. I become intensely, almost painfully aware of Rin's warm body and the deep, peaceful movement of her chest against my arm, her breathing soon returning to the even rhythm. I can't help admiring her gift for sleeping, or the ease of mind of hers to use someone she has known for less than a week as a pillow. The rockets rise up to the sky one at a time, breaking into flowers of red, green, and gold, accompanied by the oohs and ahs of the audience. I try to push Rin's disconcerting proximity out of my mind, for what can I do about it? I just hope her short while really is that. One by one, the glittery bursts are born and die in the blink of an eye, coloring the dark night sky in constantly changing abstract painting. I listen to the low booms of the explosion and Rin's quiet breathing, trying to clear my own head of the post-awakening disorientation. Thankfully, just a while longer really proves to be just a while, as Rin stirs from her slumber and wakes up again before the fireworks are over. I fell asleep. She finally opens her eyes completely and blinks a few times. You fell asleep on top of me. Twice. You didn't like it? Well... Despite the inconclusive stammering, Rin sits upright, drawing herself away from me. Well, you are heavy. It's a lie. She weighs next to nothing. But I have to get a jab back at her, even if it's under the belt. My mock protest fails to draw any reaction, and Rin's attention is drawn upwards to the flashes of the fireworks. She seems hypnotized by the powerful play of the explosions. A slight tingling sensation goes up and down my arm as blood starts to circulate again. It's unpleasant, but it helps me get rid of this dizzy feeling. More and more rockets rise up to the sky, the bright colors of their explosions reflecting from the clouds. Both of us stare at the fireworks fixedly through the canopy of the trees, enthralled by the show. We would get a vastly better view of the sky if we moved even a couple of yards, but neither of us bothers to even suggest it. I really do like fireworks. Even though looking at them makes me feel kind of sad, I think. It's like they want you to look at them so bad, so they are loud and bright, but when someone looks, they're already gone. It's like they're not even real. They are real, I can tell you that. All of this is real, you know? If you think about it, nothing really lasts for long. Even something like my life or yours is just a blink in the eye in the history of everything. Like one of those rockets. Poof, and we're gone. But we're here, aren't we? Yeah, this is reality. Rin sitting next to me, the loud bangs of the fireworks, the vast unlimited sky. These things are definitely real, even though they won't stay here forever. I feel warm inside. I wonder if it's because Rin is so close to me, or just the feeling of being alive. I don't really know what I should say next. It's alright. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. But you know, fireworks are pretty. But in the end, isn't it somehow silly to spend so much money on a fraction of a second worth of pretty sparkles? Rin rips her gaze off the still ongoing spectacle and leans backwards, looking at me with a repulsed face. Wow, I never expected you to be such a cynic. Cynic is a pretty harsh word. Rather than that, I think of myself as a realist. Isn't a realist just the word for what a cynic calls himself? The final rocket goes out with a bang of silver and blue, leaving the grounds eerily silent for a moment, until the crowd starts moving towards the main gate like a cattle herd. Wisps of gray smoke drift towards the doors from the sports field. The pungent, sulfurous smell of gunpowder it carries along feels like it sticks to my hair and clothes. Was that it? I think so. I stand up and stretch my sore back. Sleeping against a brick wall wasn't such a good idea after all. Who would have thunk it? Rin stands up as well and turns to face me, with an expectant gaze on her tired features. Although she seems to have trouble focusing her eyes, she's looking straight at me. Something I feel has not occurred too often in the past week. So I suddenly realize we've been almost on a date here, as if by accident, even if we did nothing. But it wasn't. So why is blood rushing to my cheeks and my speech stammering? I don't know what I should say, especially since it seems Rin is waiting for me to say something, but luckily she solves my problem for me. Good night, Azal. She gives me one more lingering look, measuring me from tip to toe, turns around on her heel and skips off, disappearing into the crowd. Okay. Good night. I'm left standing there, giving my response to the cooling night air. The festival turned out to be nothing like I expected. I ended up spending all day in one spot with Rin, even though neither of us agreed on, nor suggested that we do anything. I just didn't have anything better to do, and evidently, neither did she. Rin's warmth lingers for a while longer on my body, before disappearing into the falling night. Act 2, Disconnect. Yay. I don't know. I mean, even though it's like under 45 minutes, maybe I should just end it. I mean... Okay, so it's already 8:30, but this morning's class has not yet begun. We were supposed to have physics, but the teacher is nowhere to be seen. Had I known this beforehand, I would have slept in too. Suddenly, the doorway to the classroom door slams open, and Mutuo grunts his morning greeting to us from the doorway. Good morning, everyone. Mutuo looks like he has not slept at all. The stubble, his messier than normal hair, and the stained dress shirt create a less than favorable impression. I guess he had fun last night at the festival too. Or maybe even somewhere else. Excuse my being late, I ran into unexpected problems. I'm usually not one for festivals like this, but I hope you all had a good time. After all, these sorts of events are important for you all, since they give you a sort of reprieve from schoolwork. The class replies with various degrees of enthusiasm, and Mutuo proceeds to take roll and get started. Right then, today's subject is photon particle physics. Before long, I have descended into a comfortable coma-like state, along with the rest of the class, letting Mutuo's rambling speeches pass through one ear and exit the other without leaving a trace. Now, who could tell me the solution to this problem? He's written a rather easy equation on the blackboard. Desperately, he tries to get the class to participate. Nobody? Come on, guys. Nikai, how about you? What the? Unfairly singled out and cornered, I give him an answer. It causes his shaggy features to twist into a genial smile that would scare little children senseless. Precisely. Good work, Nikai. I'm both disturbed and honored by the fact that he can remember my name only 1 week after I transferred here. From what I've seen, Mutuo has serious trouble remembering the names of anybody else in the class, and most of them have been here since the first year. Well, I mean, probably because, like, unlike you, Hizao, they, like, Hizao is, I think, actively interested in what Mutuo has to say half the time. Like, I don't know. In a way, I view a lot of myself in Hizao, because, how do I say this? In school, like, especially to specific teachers, I was kind of like a pet. I'll admit that. I was like a teacher's pet. And, yeah. Anyways, so, like, yeah. From what I've seen, Mutuo has serious trouble remembering the names of anyone else in the class. Most of them have been here since the first year. The room settles into a dreary mood. Students and teacher alike trying to get back on track after the festival. I figure last week must have been frantic for anyone. Not a minute too soon, the lunch bells ring. Make way! Important business! I turn my head just in time to see other people scatter out of the way as someone charges from the far end of the corridor towards the stairwell. It's too late to realize that I'm standing in the middle of the corridor, directly in the way of the oncoming human projectile. I try to skip back towards the doorway. Unfortunately, the person running towards me dodges in the same direction. In the following fraction of a second, several things come to my mind in sequence, almost simultaneously. First, I recognize that the girl who is on a collision course with me is Emmy. Second, I realize that it feels somehow very natural to be tackled by Emmy once again. I feel almost comfortable if not for the reflexive panic and terror. Third, Emmy seems to be carrying a foot-tall stack of papers while running in the hallway. She crashes into me, but at least the impact was grazing one of my arm this time. Owie, why does this always happen to me? Because you're running in the halls. Gee, I wonder. Could it possibly do... Could it possibly have anything to do with you running through the corridor like you were on fire? She whips regretfully, looking like a hurt puppy. The sight makes me regret my snappish comment the very instant it emerges from my lips. But I was in a hurry. I can tell. Sorry. Don't worry about that. Emmy wails weakly one last time, rubs her forehead as if to expel the ache while her gaze sweeps over the hallway door. As she notices her neat stack of papers spread all over the floor in one big mess, she lets out a horrified yelp. Ah, the printouts! Oh no, what am I going to do? The teacher will be give me hell if they get dirty. They're probably fine. Let's gather them back up. It won't be a problem. We quickly round up the papers, and Emmy tries to sort through the scattered pile in her hands, back into the orderly stack it was. Where are you going? Nowhere in particular. I guess. I didn't want to be left alone with Mutuo in the classroom. I think he has a hangover. Have you eaten lunch? Not yet, but I'm feeling very hungry anyway. She looks at me incredulously, as if doubting my sanity for letting such a thing out of my mouth. You should go to the roof. I promised Rin I would eat lunch with her. I bet she'd like company. Uh-oh, my lunch with Rin have been remarkably unsuccessful. I know where this conversation is going, and it's hard to not get drawn along, so I have little choice but to play ball. Okay, I'll go pick up some bread or something first. Emmy smiles brightly before I say anything further. No, I'll go and deliver these super quick, and then go buy lunch for us, and Rin too, of course. What kind of bread would you like? It's fine, you don't really need to... Don't worry, it's alright, consider it an apology, I'll be back before you know it. That's what I'm worried about, don't get into another accident. Emmy starts walking down the hall, but since she's still talking to me, she isn't watching where she's going. I won't. Famous last words. She's already jogging down the stairs, as she shouts that not-so-reassuring promise back to me. Sighing quietly, I start plodding along in her wake, but instead of taking the stairs down, I climb upwards. The stairwell up to the roof is unlit, and just as creepy as it was before. The door squeaks weakly in protest as I push it open. Rin is there too, like Emmy said, lying on her back on the other end of the pebble-covered rooftop for some reason. Predicting something unnecessarily strange again, I walk to her as slowly as possible. Hello? She sounds very drowsy as she says that, stretching the end of the word with a slurred voice. Despite that, her eyes are wide open. I look down at her, my shadow overlapping her face. What are you doing? Rin raises an eyebrow. I thought you had a heart problem, not an eye problem. She answers, challenging the rationale of my perfectly valid question, without even tilting her head to look at me. Rin's smart-ass comments are infuriating. The worst thing is that I'm not sure if she's doing it on purpose or not. Alright then, let me rephrase. Why are you lying on your back on the rooftop? She gives a lazy shrug and sniffs dismissively. I'm trying to experience... People probably don't do this enough. What exactly are you trying to experience here? I can't really tell, but there's probably a reason people don't do whatever. She's playing dodgeball with me again, answering my attempt at small talk with riddles I don't want to puzzle out. But I don't want to ignore her either. Yeah, but the reason is that everyone is too busy with their lives to pay attention to the really important things, like watching the sky. She tears her gaze away from the sky and finally looks straight at me. The penetrating deepness of her eyes when she focuses them on something is startling. You know, if you were a girl, I would be able to see your panties. If I was a girl, I wouldn't come this close to anyone who tried to to take a sneak peek at my panties. I have that much common sense. I wouldn't either, but sometimes it can't be avoided. Like now, for example. To tell you the truth, I don't even want to peek at your panties. Though, underpants are the. I'm sorry, what? Alright. Underpants are the soul of the girl. You shouldn't peek at someone else's soul, even if you are not a girl. As a guy, I guess I can understand that. To us, there's some sort of half mythical object that we can't quite comprehend. Bro, what? Yeah, that's exactly how I think about them too. What a coincidence. It really is. So did you have world history in the morning class? I skipped class to do this. Well, I'm not actually doing what it looks like I'm doing. At least, I think that what I'm doing doesn't look like what I look like from your perspective. Probably. Yeah, I skipped class to do this. I guess whatever your reason is, it's as good as any. This is going to be a very interesting route, I think. Giving in to the tired feeling in my legs, I sit down on the roof next to Rin. The pebbles are not the most comfortable bed in the world, but if she can stand it, then I should be able to as well. What are you waiting for? Huh? Try it. I bend my neck backwards to take a look where she's looking. The silvery blue sky, dotted by herds of cloud sheep, fills my field of vision entirely. While it's pretty, the view is nothing special, even though the weather is fair. I give a shrug, trying my best to imitate the nonchalant manner which Rin seems to have evolved to perfection, and lie down on my back. The stones poke in my back through my thin shirt whenever I shift my weight, even a little, forcing me to keep still as possible. I try to ignore the discomfort. I, sorry about that. I try to ignore the discomfort in myself, instead concentrating on the vastness over us. Far above, the summer clouds drift soundlessly across the dome of the sky. Neither of us has anything more to say. The silence covers the rooftop. The subdued noises of students on their lunch break, cicadas in the trees, and traffic buzzing past the school are humming pleasantly somewhere in the background. Listen, I had a great time yesterday. Did you? Well, to be honest, no. But it was alright. It was probably the longest time I've ever sat in one place without doing anything, which is kind of impressive. I tried to make it sound as convincing as possible. Is that impressive? I think it is. I'm usually too restless to do anything like that. I think I had a good time too. A cloud passes above us, casting its shadow on the school. A chill surges through me from the sudden change of sunlight to shade. I realize that summer is not in its full bloom quite yet. The only measure of time passing is the slow pace of the clouds moving towards the town. Stray beams of golden sunlight leak through the gaps, blinding me for a moment whenever they hit me directly in the eyes. The blue of the sky looks so unreachable. This reminds me of the time I spent in the hospital, where I was bored out of my mind on a daily basis. Somehow, it didn't matter after a while. I learned to appreciate other things besides watching TV and gossiping with people I didn't even like. A comprehensive sensation of calmness spreads from my sight to my other senses, finally hitting my brain. An airplane zooms by, leaving two thin contrails in its wake like a pair of chalk lines drawn from one end of the sky to the other. I wonder where it is heading. The low din of its engines carries all the way down my ears, although it's barely audible over the racket from the quad. It's nice. It's nice, but I don't understand why this is more important than going to class. Isn't it good to do something you like every once in a while? Of course, but what are you doing? I mean, what are you doing? Emmy has snuck up on us without either noticing and is only a step away from me, holding several packages wrapped in plastic film in her arms. She leans forwards and peeks over me, overshadowing my face almost exactly the same way I overshadowed Rin before. I wonder how weird this looks. The two of us lying on our backs on the rooftop. That's what I asked too. I would be more concerned about what you are doing. If I were you, I wouldn't come close to the people that could see your panties. Bro, what? Red! Emmy's voice is scandalized, but she quickly takes a step backwards, pressing her hands against the front of her skirt so abruptly that the parcels of bread she was carrying fall. I quickly avert my eyes, glance angrily at Rin. She pretends not to see me. Hizao isn't like that, right? Right. Emmy scowls at Rin and crouches down to pick up the packages. She wipes the dust off them and skips lithely around me to Rin's other side, where she rests herself down. Anyway, here's your bread. Sorry it took a while. That's alright. Thanks for treating me. I pull myself up into a sitting position and gratefully accept the bread Emmy is offering. All three of us ravenously dig into the simple meal. The bread is surprisingly decent and readily fills my stomach. I follow from the corner of my eye with the skill with which Rin handles her bread between her feet. I haven't seen you on the track in a few days. Oh, right. I figured it was too heavy a routine for me to start with. So, you've been doing something else? I've been considering my options. She frowns, but doesn't pursue the issue further, for which I'm thankful. Emmy seems pretty headstrong, and I really wouldn't want to get pestered by her about this on a daily basis. I have enough burdens to bear with Shizune and Misha already. We barely finished lunch before the bells ring, calling us back to our classrooms. Hee-chan! Misha waves at me as soon as I enter, and starts talking before I even make my way across the classroom. How was your festival? Did you have fun? Still somewhat undecided on that. I'd say, probably. Why? Oh, just asking. Her eyes glint in a way that tells me she's not just asking, and I can't even start to guess her motives, though. Yeah, as the well-timed entrance the English teacher prevents us from talking further, Misha falls back to plan B. I was there all day with Chi-chan. We had a lot of fun. Weren't you supposed to be doing work? Don't worry, everything went really well. I don't reply to that, and she leaves me alone after Shizune demands her attention. On my own attention, on the other hand, is directed out the windows. Now that I look at it from here, through the window and the foliage, just outside, the sky seems smaller. I catch only small glimpses of blue. Everything else is a clutter of noise in the middle of my field of vision. What experience did Rin want out of staring at the sky? Surely she's done it before. Everyone has. It's no use trying to guess her mind. But if I don't do that, then I have no excuse for not concentrating on the teacher's words. I look at the scribbles appearing on the blackboard, trying to figure out their meaning with little success. English is not really my favorite subject. We have a strong mutual dislike for one another. Thick, hot afternoon light invades the corridor, making the air feel heavy and lazy. My body feels weighed down by it as I drag it 2 doors down the hallway to the art classroom. Maybe this is part of the reason why I didn't join any clubs before. Afternoons just aren't suited for activity. I knock on the door of the art room and open it. A girl who is possibly doing something important with a scroll of paper she's carrying turns to reckon me and smiles in a sweet, if a bit confused manner. Hello? This is the art club, right? Yeah, you interested in joining? Yeah, in fact, I might have already done so, but we'll see. I give her a weak smile, and her own widens a notch, making me feel less nervous. Great, have a seat then. We'll start when the teacher gets here. Without even scouting the room for a good spot, I walk quickly to the back of the room and settle myself on a free seat, apart from everyone else. A few other members are lounging in their seats, waiting for the teacher. Rin sits alone in a window seat, looking outside. She's the only person I hear that I know enough. Wait. She's the only person here that I know, although a guy I've never really gotten along with from my own classes here too. Nobody else comes to greet me. Maybe introductions are left for later. So I just settle for silent observation as well. One boy has sunglasses on. An odd sight indoors, while we're not at Yamaku. I bet he's the blind student that Rin was talking about. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The wait proves to be extremely short. Nomiya walks over to stand behind his desk in 3 long strides, then gives a smile and a flamboyant greeting. Good afternoon, everyone. First things first. Hazao, there is a new member, so everyone get along with him. He winks at me, unsettlingly. All 8 members of the club, including myself, answer his greeting with considerably less enthusiasm. Still, people finally straighten up in their seats and begin to pay attention. I think some of you still have projects to work on, so please continue with those if you'd like. As for the rest, I was thinking that today we could do some rough studies. How does that sound? Nobody answers, except with some unintelligible murmurs, which Nomiya apparently interprets as unanimous approval. Alright then, everyone not working on other projects, choose a partner and draw a sketch of one another. Okay. You should be able to complete this today, but if not, we can continue it next time, or even do it again if you find it interesting. Remember to pay attention to lighting and shadow, and give it your best. Pairing up? I feel pretty awkward about it, hardly knowing anyone here. I wish someone would ask me to be their partner. People stand up and move their chairs closer together, but nobody comes to me. Pretty soon, everyone else is paired off. Friends team up with each other, but I'm left alone. Well, there is Ren. She's sitting in the furthest corner of the classroom, still staring at the window, and seemingly uninterested in taking part in the exercise. Since she's the only other one without a partner, I walk to her seat. I can't see her face because her hair is covering most of it, and she's looking away from me. Rin? I call out to her. No response. Hey, want to partner up? You're the only one I know here. She seems to finally acknowledge my presence, turning like a robot as she looks to see who is addressing her. Rin doesn't answer, and I don't want to repeat the question either. I'm sure she heard it the first time. Why doesn't she say anything? It can't be such an awful fate to be paired up with me, can it? She doesn't look at my face, and instead stares directly at my chest and stomach. Okay, why not? Okay, good, great. I'll get the stuff for us. Looking at the equipment Nomiya has prepared for today's meeting confuses me. Instead of graphite or pencils, we're apparently supposed to do ink sketches. Never done anything like that before. The teacher, however, seems confident in my abilities to adapt to this medium. Simple. First you do the outlines in ink, you let them dry, then you shade with a diluted ink. This is called India ink. It works like watercolors. If you're uncomfortable with it, use a pen instead of a brush for the outlines. Yeah, this is good advice. Like, again, with the watermelon, what we had to do is I made multiple layers of outlines, right? So I made multiple layers of outlines using a pencil. Then I used a pen, and then after the pen, I started actually putting in the colors. So, anyway, got it. I pick up paper, water cups, one pen for me, one brush for Rin, and ink for both of us, then return to Rin. Actually, I think that's why I disliked painting so much, because I felt it took too much time, and without anything that interesting about it. Like, I guess I'm not that much of a quote-unquote visual person. If that makes any sense. Like, not sure how to describe it. Like, you know, like, sure, I could be good at painting and art, but I just never felt an interest in it. So, yeah. Anyways, grabbing a vacated chair from nearby, I sat myself directly opposite her. Do you want me to do it with my foot or my mouth? What did you say? She tilts her head, her brows forming questioning arches, as if she doesn't understand that I didn't understand the question. I don't mind drawing either way. You'll look better if I do it with my foot, though. With your foot, then? If it's all the same to you. Nodding in answer, Rin gets up from her seat and kicks off her sandals. In two fluid motions, she picks up the paper sheet and drops it on the floor, then snatches the brush between her toes before sitting on the floor in a weird half cross-legged position. Although I've seen her do everything with her feet already, from eating to painting to this display of dexterity is so prodigious that I just stare at her stunned. Rin contemplates her blank paper intently. The sharp tip of her brush hovers over the paper in anticipation. When she raises her head to see if I'm ready, I quickly turn my face away. I'll go first. Make a pose. What kind of pose? Doesn't matter. That's the point. You have to make the sketch of an impression you get, not decide beforehand. I end up just sitting in my chair, hands hanging limply between my knees. I look at her, and she looks at me for a moment before beginning. Rin stares piercing, but impassive, as if she were trying to absorb a part of me into her own self. I feel like I'm physically shrinking under the pressure of her gaze. I get the feeling that, for the first time we've met, Rin is actually looking at me, instead of in my general direction. She sketches with confident, bold sweeps of the delicate brush, not caring about the potentially destructive consequences of an accidentally misplaced stroke. After she's happy with the outlines, she stands up to pose for me, stretching her back and legs. This time, she doesn't look at me. Instead, Rin lets her gaze wander around the room. I'm relieved. It's easier to stare at someone when they aren't staring back at you. Even so, I find it hard to get the sketch going. I'm not especially artistically talented, so I'm scared my portrait will turn into something disfigured, especially when compared to my partner's skill. I don't want to embarrass myself too badly on the first try. Rin is not helping the process either. She doesn't stand still, even for 10 seconds, tilting her head from side to side to judge her drawing, biting at her lower lip, looking unsatisfied, and constantly shuffling around like she was on hot coals. I finally managed to make some headway on my sketch. With my outlines done, we both start inking in the shadow and light. Nomiya passes by and remarks on the beginnings of our sketches. Very good. Standing figure is easier for a beginner to get a grasp of. But I didn't choose the pose. I look at him and then at Rin in confusion, but he's already moving on into the next pair. Rin seems unresponsive. Just like when she was painting the mural, Rin has become so engrossed with her work that it seems she has shut me, the classroom, and the entire world itself out from her own little sphere of existence. Every now and then, she leans backwards, seemingly to get some perspective. Sometimes she bends forward, leaning down until her nose almost touches the paper. This rocking back and forth looks so silly. Suddenly, Bryn proves she hasn't completely drifted off into a world of her own and speaks. Are you having fun already? She doesn't raise her eyes from the drawing, which is a good thing. The breaking of the silence sends a jolt of surprise through me, as if I'd been electrocuted. I don't know yet. It's hard to say. I can't hear how she replies to my answer because it seems she is suddenly having a private, whispered conversation with her sketch. I don't understand how she can draw so well when she has the attention span of a butterfly. It seems she's lost her interest. I go back to work on my drawing as well. I try to add texture to Rin's hair, somehow grasp the way the golden afternoon sun lights her bright red tousle aflame, and transfer it to my paper in shades of black and gray. Somehow, this pen and the bottle of ink seem like such lousy, inadequate tools for the task. Minutes pass, but the sketch doesn't magically look any more like Rin than it did before. Her voice wakes me from my despair. What about now? Excuse me? Are you having fun already? Why do you keep asking that? Because it's a club, right? Clubs are meant to be fun. You joined to have fun. Are you having fun? Is it important that I'm having fun? Yes. Well, I mean, sometimes it's just important to do something new. Like, honestly, like, look, I gave art a shot. I gave painting a shot. I didn't like it. Like, even if I was talented at it, I don't like it. That's just how it is. Like, you need to give things chances, and frankly, whether or not you like them or not, that depends on you, right? Not everyone's gonna like the same things. So yeah. Yes. Okay, I'm having fun. Good. I wonder if I said that just to please her, or if I really meant it. I can't really decide which it was. I don't hate this, though. I can honestly say that much. It's good enough for now. As the allotted time to finish the studies quickly ticks away, I desperately try to improve my awful sketch, but it doesn't seem to get any better. I want to start again from scratch, but what would be the point? There's no time for that either. Okay, everyone, that's it for today. Please turn in the drawings on my desk, and I'll see you all next Monday. I glance at my portrait. It doesn't look exactly like Rin, but I guess you could say it portrays her? That might be a bit generous. The nose and jaw look hideous. The shading is terrible. Granted, it's my first attempt at drawing with ink, but it's still pretty bad. That's not bad. She sneaked up behind me while I was lost in thought. Damn it. I was hoping I could smuggle the portrait to the teacher without you seeing it. Why? I'm not really happy with it. I wish I could draw better. You just need some practice. Could you take my drawing to the teacher too? Curious myself about how the sketch turned out, I peek at the picture. From the way Rin was drawing, it looked like she was really into it. It's excellent. Somehow, the seemingly arbitrary strokes come together to form an image of my face, from the shape of my chin to the messy hair to the somewhat gloomy expression. Her sketch blows my mind. Okay. Also, I was thinking about... I'm just gonna go to the main menu. Okay, there's the hand, yippee. But yeah, I was thinking about ending the episode way earlier, but then I got lost track of that, so... Yep. Anyways. Yeah. I'm gonna open this up next recording, so... Yep. Anyways. Well, everyone, thank you for playing Katawa... Thank you for watching me play Katawa Shoujo. See you next time. It's been Deen the Autist. Goodbye.